Salute, salute. It is your boy Tony the Savant back again. And bro, y'all gotta forgive me, man. I might lose a couple political connects after this conversation we're about to have, but we gotta have this conversation. And I'm willing to lose some political connects because I'm gonna use my platform not to pick a side, but to stop the cap. Okay, there's so much cap surrounding this one issue with these trans athletes that is getting out of hand. All right. And I'm calling it cap because respectfully, all right, if you do the trans thing, hey, that's fine. You know what I mean? I'm gonna accept whatever you accept. You know, I don't really I'm gonna be honest. Me, you know what I mean? I got a lot of brothers and sisters, and they have always had a lot of drama going on in their lives. You know, I love them, my siblings. Shout out to them. You know what I'm saying? But I've learned very early on in my life to mind my business. You dig? Like, it's just so much going on. I got a very big family too, so it's like it'd be so much stuff going on in my family amongst the people I love and actually do think about and care about and check on. It'd be so much stuff going on within my own little DNA circle that I don't concern myself with what goes on too much, even with my friends or whatnot. Whatever they share with me, that's what I comment on. I don't volunteer or ask for information. And this is very same with this whole issue with the LGBTs and the trans and everything. I get it. People want to live their lives. They want to do their thing. Cool. All right. But I got daughters, man. All right. And I'm also a personal trainer. Not got to get my license renewed, but personal trainer. That's a title that I hold. I've had to study anatomy. I've had to study science and chromosomes and how the body responds to physical activity. And let me tell you, bro, everybody's body responds differently in sports. You know what I mean? It's not a cookie cutter kind of thing that you can do when you say, all right, this particular method works for every woman. No, that doesn't work. Most times when it comes to athletes, especially, you got to cook up a very individualistic kind of program because everybody's bodies responds differently. But one thing's for sure, all right, men's bodies respond absolutely totally different to things than women's bodies. All right, we could do another show pulling up all of the science backing this up because this is what we're supposed to be doing, right? Respecting the science, listening to the sun. I remember 2020, that was the line for everything. You know what I'm saying? Listen to the science. All right, so we're gonna do a show backing up everything I'm saying, and I'm doing the build up, ladies and gentlemen, because there's a person that I respect and I hold dear to me in the sports world that made these comments at a time, bro, at a time when women's sports are probably the most popular than they've ever been. This this is what we still talking about. This is what we dealing with. Ladies and gentlemen, before I even started my sports journalism thing, my career, excuse me, I would hear issues about this, the whole Leah Thomas, that's probably the most polarizing issue uh, that was around before I started my journalism career. And I couldn't believe that there was actually two sides to this argument. You know what I mean? Because again, I'm a personal trainer. You know what I mean? I have daughters, I have sons. I notice just amongst my little clan, of children, how they respond differently to things. How are these scientists and these and these sports professionals? Dawn Staley's get paid. She gets paid very well doing what she does. She has to have some knowledge or background in uh in the anatomy and how men and women cannot As far as physical exertion and responses go to certain things, we are not in the same league, and that's also a beautiful thing. Because what does equality get you? You know what I mean? What? Who cares? Who cares? I'm not trying to make this a political thing. I'm just tired of having this argument because this argument was around before I had daughters, and now I gotta say something because I have daughters, and I'm gonna be getting my daughters into sports within the next 3 to 5 summers, and I'm not gonna be tolerating this nonsense. I'm gonna be honest. As a father, I'm not gonna tolerate. As an athlete, all right, I'm really coming, and as a journalist, I got to put on all three of these hats. We got to stop tolerating this nonsense. And I'm using my platform. I don't care, y'all feel how you feels. I know it's a lot of people with a lot of feelings. This is how I feel. You know what I mean? I'm amongst the community as well of human beings who should be entitled to their opinion. And this is becoming nonsense. I'm sorry. If we're going to do the trans athlete thing, I will champion it. I will use my platform to cover it. But they gotta have their own league, bro. We gotta have their own. We gotta have because we've always had men's tournaments, women's tournaments. We got it cooking right now in real time with the national championship games. We're about to have two championship games, ladies and gentlemen. We're not having two men's championship games. We're not having two women's championship games. No, we're having a men's and a women's because there should be a separation and an appreciation of genders, bro. There should be an appreciation of this stuff, bro. Even if it is more than one, two genders, y'all should have your own league lane history books. You feel me? That's where I'm going with it. Everybody should have their own. Now, that doesn't really work when you say, oh, I mean, I guess it does to a degree because we have quote unquote black history, we have Latino history, we have Asian history, we have German history. We got all these history books that tell a particular story of one particular quote unquote race. I guess we can go with that. But then you still gonna have an appreciation and a separation, but keyword and all that, appreciation. You know what I mean? We can have our own trans leagues and all that stuff if there's a market for it. And then there's going to be, like I say, I'll be as a journalist, a person that uses his platform to cover these sports. But trying to force feed this thing it's not working, bro. I seen an article the other day and it just kind of made me laugh. I think I shared it. But Leah Thomas, the Olympic swimmer, trans athlete, came out and said that they'll be competing in the men's tournament, forfeiting. I guess if this was a real story, it made me chuckle because she'll, he'll, they'll be forfeiting, I guess, the opportunity to compete in the women's tournament and we'll be competing amongst the men. And it's like, this shouldn't even be making news to me. That's why I didn't cover the story. But nonetheless, this is the times we're in. Coach Dawn Staley, uh, again, man, I try to have a respect and a regard for these professional athletes, but then you got to remember these people are freaking uh, filthy rich. They're amongst the elites, so they believe a lot of wacky stuff, man. You know what I mean? And I know that once you get to a certain money clip, you kind of forfeit reality because you can afford to pay for your own fantasies. And this is kind of what I feel like is happening. Also, out of my big beautiful family, I have rich family members, so I know how the elites think. I know how they work. I know what wines they like. You know what I mean? I get, it's funny business, to me. I'm not an elite. You know what I mean? I'm related to some of them, and sometimes when you have conversations with them, you notice that these people ain't living in the same atmosphere as you. Like once you down here in the field and you seeing every day uh, real life activity going on, you're not, amongst your friends drinking the finest wines and eating the freshest grapes. Like I say, they can afford to pay for their fantasies. us normal guys, we're down here watching real life stuff going on. And like I say, I've seen real life clips where these trans athletes hurt women. You know what I mean? Girls. You know, it was some high school uh, story that came out, and I can't tell you where or when, but it got, it's popular. You look for it, you'll find it. But this high school trans athlete, the dude, the girl, whatever, uh, they're playing volleyball, and the trans hit the ball so hard, bro, that it hit the girl, one of the girls on the other team, on the opposing team, so hard that it concussed her. Like she had to get like face resurgery. And it's like, bro, what are we doing, bro? What are we doing? Like I say, I got daughters, and they will be competing on an athletic level. And if y'all want to play these games, then we can play these games. Y'all gonna have to play, because also there's a story about this gentleman. Shout out to him. It was some trans athlete that broke the women's record, and this dude entered the competition as a woman, didn't change his gender, and then I know if y'all know about this issue, you heard about this story. He didn't change his gender or anything, competed, shattered the trans record, and to this day, the guy that entered as a woman that didn't, pretend to be a woman, didn't act like a woman, and he just purely got into it to show that when you compete, on a fair gender to gender level, because you can say what you is, but then again, there's the science, and you can't change much of science. You can change theories. They try to play that game with you too. The scientists and the people with the degrees, the elites, they try to play that. Oh, I got a degree. No, you know what I mean? Because as a lowly personal trainer, that only paid $1,000 for a certificate. In a 6-month educational program. I think I know just as much, if not uh, more than you, bud. You know what I'm saying? Like they go to school for 90 years and think they know more, and that's not how it works. But in the same breath, I'm seeing these clips. These trans athletes competing in the UFC and against these women and freaking hurting them, bro. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. I don't know how anybody else could watch it. I don't know how anybody that endorses this stuff can watch it, because it's heartbreaking. When you see a trans athlete allegedly, you know what I mean. I'm gonna be on the real side and call it a man. You see a man beating up a woman, beating her skull in, and y'all still calling for this? Coach Dawn Staley, you're still calling for this. There's a black woman on record who got her skull beat in by a trans athlete. They still want this stuff, bro. I don't understand it. And like I say, once my baby girls get into the competitive world, and they gonna be a, you gonna see them salted girls playing. Uh, what we not gonna do is play these games. We gonna play soccer. We gonna do a little judo. We gonna be playing those games. We're not gonna be playing these games, bro, because my baby girls are my world for me. So you ain't finna have some little boy who mama didn't tell him right. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, my man's. No. And so I gotta use my platform to speak on this issue. Before I had daughters, like I say, I was a little bit more mutual and just kind of was like, I don't agree with this, but whatever. And I didn't have my sports journalism career as well. But this is getting out of hand, man. I don't understand. I just don't understand it. Maybe if Coach Dawn Staley was able to reasonably and articulately uh, speak on why she thinks that trans athletes can be accepted, what I'm saying, in women's sports. They never say trans athletes can be accepted in men's sports. Wow. You know what I'm saying? They never say that. They never say trans athletes can be accepted in men's sports. And I wonder why. You know what I'm saying? You never see that. Don't make, even if they did say that, it wouldn't make news. Because, bro, at the end of the day, this is disgusting. And at the time, like I said, we at the heights of women's sports right now. I don't remember a time, even back when Lisa Leslie was playing and Cheryl Swoops and all them, the legends of old, as far as the women's sports, when they was dominating. I don't recall women's sports being talked about this much. Yeah, they got my attention. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and Juju Watkins and all these young ladies doing their thing. Because it's not just a storyline. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, I feel like with Candace Parker, Maya Moore, Skylar Diggins Smith, they just had storylines. They had skills, but their storylines was more, like as far as them being the most dominant thing in college sports, in women's college sports at the time. They just had more of a storyline. These young ladies got storylines, they got skills, they got brands, they got personalities. You know what I'm saying? And to the extent where there's a lot of people out here, there is a subsect of people out here that's like, hey, Caitlin Clark don't need the WNBA. She should go to the Big Three and all this kind of stuff. Which, whatever with that. I've been seeing people say that. I don't really have an opinion on that. I think it's kind of funny, but it is what it is. But at the same time, man, we at the height of women's sports. These young ladies are skyrocketing the whole women's sports industry to an atmosphere it's never been in. And then you got probably, Coach Gino, yeah, and then rest in peace, Coach Pat, excuse me, of Tennessee. You got probably one of the most legendary coaches in women's sports right now. Cementing her legacy. Could probably do it tonight with a third championship for sure. You got one of the most legendary coaches in women's sports calling for this, and it's just, I'm sorry, bro, I can't jump on this wave. Women's sports should have their own thing, and the only reason why it's never really gotten to the point where it could have been more popular because it's always been women, bro. It's always been women tearing down women's sports. Peep game. I was about to do a live about this, but then I seen this headline. Doing my research on the game tonight, I seen this headline. I say, what is going on? But right now, Diana Taurasi, Brianna Stewart, Cheryl Swoops. It was another young lady, man. They all speaking down on Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and these girls because, namely Caitlin Clark, but they speaking down on the whole generation because these girls are coming into the WNBA with a brand, with a popularity, bringing more money to the league than it's probably generating right now. Let's be honest. Caitlin Clark making $3 million right now as a rookie, number one pick in the WNBA draft. She's gonna be making $76,000. Bro, $3 million to $76,000 is a lifestyle change. You dig? Like, uh, I'm doing y'all a favor by coming to the WNBA. You know what I mean? But anyway, all of these women in the WNBA are, respectable legends. Like I say, Diana Taurasi, Brianna Stewart. These are some of my favorite women, ballers. But they speaking down on Caitlin Clark, bro. Like, what are y'all doing? You know what I mean? Y'all should be highly uplifting this young lady, even on a respect. What she's doing. She's balling. She's the best. She's the. I like Paige. I think Juju is a little bit better, a versatile scorer. Um, Even that young lady at NC State, I think Isaiah James, she's nice too. But respectively, Caitlin Clark on the marketing level, all right, let's just put her on the marketing level, is the best thing to happen to women's sports. Like I say, even thinking back to Lisa Leslie and them, like, hey, they was high. I remember them, they getting their shine, but I just don't recall anything like it's going on right now. You know what I'm saying? So, um, and then, like I say, one of the most legendary coaches in women's sports, especially right now, cementing her name amongst the greats, calling for this. Like, nah, no, I'm sorry, coach. I love you, Don, but nah, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? And like I say, I'm wearing three hats in this situation. My father hat. I got two baby girls right now. In the next 3 summers, we'll be competing. You will see. They'll be out there. They're gonna be nice. I'm wearing my athletic hat because I competed against boys and also had the our lady athletes across the way. And they always did their thing respectfully, but we always knew it was no real competition. The best girl on the basketball team, on the girls basketball team, was light years away from the best dude on the basketball. She could probably beat me. I respect. I was always middle of the pack. She could probably be, somebody, but when it came to the best of the best, we always respect that there was a difference there in days past. So as an athlete, I'm still holding on to that. Say whatever. I'm living in the past. Whatever. We gotta respect that women got their thing, men got their thing. We should have a separation and an appreciation. And also, I got to put my journalist hat on, bro. I got to use my platform to speak out against this because if we're going to do the trans athlete thing, I'm all for it. I will use my platforms to cover the trans games or whatever's going to look like. I will use my platform to cover it because I will respect it for what it is, but don't force feed it. And don't do it like this, bro. It's always trans athletes should be allowed in women's sports. Okay, then why shouldn't they be allowed in men's sports? Probably because trans is gonna get yammed on by LeBron. Probably because a trans gonna get crossed out their boots by Steph or Kyrie. Like, come on, bro. We know what's going on here. And I got to use my platform to call it out again. You know what I'm saying? I seen this nonsense going on a couple of years ago. Didn't have a platform, nor did I have a real opinion on it because, it was just kind of something I seen. The whole Leah Thomas thing, the whole Leah Thomas wave was the most polarizing issue that came up surrounding this kind of stuff. And like I said, back then, I really didn't have an opinion. But now it's like, nah, sir, no, no, no. And I'm sorry, Coach Dawn, I wasn't expecting to run into this story. I'm doing my research on the national championship game. My focus ain't even on no trans stuff, or political stuff. But I'm coming across my research, and Coach Dawn says this. Wait, I guess he said it today. I accidentally clipped out the timestamp, but I guess he said it today. But it's just like, come on, Coach, man. Right now, you're about to potentially accomplish a third championship with a team that was supposed to be a rebuild team. You know what I'm saying? Like the last year team, I think they lost a lot of the pieces from that team outside of Camilla. But it was supposed to be, a down year for South Carolina. Y'all wasn't supposed to be here, let alone undefeated, let alone in the championship game. You know what I mean? And this is a time to celebrate these young ladies, bro. Not just her, not just the young ladies, but her as well. She's the coach of the year. You know what I mean? An amazing feat. Respectable guru in basketball amongst the men and the women, because we not putting whoever is coaching, excuse me, respectfully, I don't know who coaches Duke right now. You know what I mean? It was Coach K for me, but I don't know who coaches Duke. We're not comparing the coach of Duke. We would never put him on Coach Dawn Staley level, as far as a mind for the game right now. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we should be celebrating women, bro. I don't know why all of the men across the board, I've seen YouTubers, mainstream athletes, LeBron, everybody. I see men supporting the women harder than the women supporting the women, because like I say, Diana Taurasi, Brianna Stewart, Cheryl Swoops, and not just those are just the big three I'm naming right now. Like I've seen more, but off the top of my head, for the sake of reporting and time, those are the big three. Where those are three names in women's sports in the WNBA that carry weight. And they shouldn't be, talking down on the young girls like this, bro. Honestly, and when you see the young guys in the NBA, I'm sorry. When we seen Ja in high school, first time I ever seen Ja Morant was in a picture with Steph Curry. Like the first time I ever seen Devin Booker, he was a youngster in a picture. I think LeBron or Kobe, it was Kobe giving a speech to Devin Booker, like Zach LaVine. Uh, who else was in that picture? It was a bunch. I think Donovan Mitchell. All of them young when they was the youngsters in high school. Kobe was embracing them like, "Hey, look, bro, this is what you're gonna accomplish. This is what you're gonna experience at the next level." Blah blah blah. But then you get to the WNBA, you got Diana Taurasi on live TV talking about she'll take Paige Backers over Caitlin Clark. Now, look, I'm not saying I disagree with that 100%. I feel like Paige Backers is the most skilled player, amongst the young ladies. As far as Juju probably got the best offensive skill set categories. Across the board, Paige is probably the most ready for the professional level, offensively, defensively, intangibles, her leadership. I would take Paige number one too. But on TV, I wouldn't say that for the sake of marketing, because who's the number one consensus pick? Caitlin Clark. And who's getting the most money pushed behind them right now? Caitlin Clark. You know what I mean? So why not? If Caitlin Clark comes into the WNBA, it's going to generate. They're projecting $10 billion next year in revenue. You know what I mean? Her coming into the WNBA is projecting $10 billion in revenue. Last year, the WNBA only made $600 million. This is a lifestyle change that they about to have. You know what I'm saying, with this young lady. She's coming into the game, like I say, $3 million on her NIL. She's gonna make $76,000. I know people in a restaurant game that makes more than that. I hate to even say it. That sounds crazy to say. There are restaurant managers that make more than that. You know what I mean? That I can call on my buzzer right now. But in the same breath, she'll be making $76,000 coming into the WNBA on a team. I'm not sure what the Indiana Fever are doing, but I know they wasn't competing for a championship last year. They weren't in the championship game. So she'll be, projected to go to a team that she's going to have to build, going to have to generate attention for. WNBA ain't doing no favors for Caitlin Clark here. You know what I mean? So at the same time, to hear these veterans and these legends in women's sports speaking down on her like this, it disgusted me when I heard Cheryl Swoops literally lying, talking about Caitlin Clark been in college for 5 years. Cap, she's been in there 4 years. Talking about Caitlin Clark 25. Cap, she's 22. It's on the jersey. You know what I mean? Like, why y'all doing all this capping when it's easily you can Google all of this stuff? You're just getting on podcasts and live TV, dismissing the young lady, and I feel like that's disgusting. I didn't want to turn. I was going to do a different stream for Caitlin, but I might as well get into this bag because I got to do a little. I want to cover the game tonight, do a little pre-video, but again, like I say, in my research, man, I ran into this at a time when we should be celebrating women's sports. At a time when women's sports, this has been the most popular it's ever been. I think everybody in the room will acknowledge that. Whether you're paying attention or not, Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese. One of those names off popularity alone. And these are college athletes, bro. They're not pros. We know Angel Reese name like we know LeBron and Steph Curry name. Like, it's just the popularity of it right now. She's popular. One of the most popular things on the planet right now. But in the same breath, even casuals knows what's going on. These professional women who have been complaining. Listen, y'all. These same Diana Taurasi's, Brianna Stewart's. These are the same with Kelsey Plums. I didn't bring her up, but she another one out here throwing shade. All of these women have been complaining about not getting just pay, not being treated like the men, quote unquote. Shorties, I'm sorry, look around, smell the coffee brewing. Y'all have an opportunity to gain some more leverage, money, all that stuff if you embrace this young lady, if you embrace this marketing force who happens to be very good on the basketball court, mind you. Caitlin Clark ain't just a hype job. She's actually a legit basketball player if you know what you're watching. And so at the end of the day, like I say, Dawn Staley, man, at a time where women's sports is taking 100 steps forward, I feel like saying something like this is just bringing us 90 steps back. I don't think her man saying stuff like this is going to hold any weight in the long term because, again, thankfully, I'm reporting that also Leah Thomas announced that he will be competing with the men in the next tournament, forfeiting uh, hers opportunity to compete amongst the women. And I feel like that's just because people gave it a lot of backlash. Like, I'm sorry, bro. And then right now, people are investing more money as well. I'm seeing it on the ground level amongst my peers. A lot of people have daughters. They're investing a lot of money in their baby girls playing sports. Ain't nobody got time to be dealing with this nonsense, bro. I'm sorry. Especially when I get in the game, you gonna hear Papa Salt. You Papa Tone. Hey, go. I'm going crazy. But if I gotta stop the game because some little dude over here, nah, man, no. And I got sons too. My sons will be competing. They did, and I'm gonna be cheering for them. I wouldn't want a little girl on the court, with my boys because she could get hurt. This is real stuff, bro. I'm not no scientist. Excuse me. I'm not no politician. But this is real common 1+1 stuff here. Like these little girls would be hurt competing amongst little boys. There's just a different level. Yeah, in the beginning when they little, the peewee stuff, all right, cool. But once you hit about 8, 9, 10, the differences in the body start showing up. Boys' testosterone start kicking in. You're talking about boys hurting each other. How often do we see boys get hurt playing amongst boys? Yeah, we're talking about a even level of playing field there. You know what I mean? We still hurt each other. I didn't been hurt. Niggas been rolled me over a couple times in my athletic career. So, all in all, I just wanted to speak out against this as much as I love Coach Dawn Staley, as much as I love South Carolina and what they got going on right now. cementing themselves amongst the college women basketball dynasties. I am adamantly 1,000% in disagreement with Coach Dawn Staley. And when I say that, for anybody that wants to get emotional, I know it's a lot of political stuff going on right now. When I say that, here it is as well. Don't just take the hot bite, the sound bite, and be like, yo, Tone out here, you trip. No, I'm not. I'm also saying that I'm gonna use my platform. I want to have a separation and an appreciation. Just like we got Black history, we got German history, my nigga. We got Alaskan history, Hawaiian history. We got all these separations and appreciations. Then so let's have a separation and appreciation for trans athletes. Let's get them their own TNBA. Yeah, you dig? Let's go all the way. Let's put some money behind it. If y'all really want to do this, don't impede on what the women got going on, especially now that people are paying attention to what women's sports is. We actually got money and some skin in the game. Because I ain't gonna hold you. I'm gonna invest money. I'm gonna go to a Caitlin Clark game. I'm gonna go to an Angel Reese game. You dig? I'm going. I'm gonna support these young ladies because they was able to garnish my attention and bring my attention back to women's sports. So in exchange for that, I'm gonna allocate some resources. And also, I've been on record with saying, I feel like right now, they are model citizens. I wouldn't mind my daughters looking up to Angel Reese versus Cardi B. You know what I mean? Respectfully, if your daughter look up to Cardi B, I got nothing against you. It's just me personally. I wouldn't mind my daughters looking up to Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and Paige Backers. These young ladies carry themselves very well. That's why I feel like they got brands, they got the skills, they got things that the women of old, excuse me, the legendary women athletes of old did not have. You know what I mean? Maya Moore, my favorite athlete of all time as far as the WNBA goes. She wasn't very marketable, you know what I mean? She had the skill set. She was a lot like Kobe. She just loved the game. She didn't really, even now, I don't really see her in the press too much. Candace Parker was another one, had the skill set. She had a little personality to it, but at the end of the day, I feel like Candace Parker was a victim to the WNBA. They market it, man. It's horrible. They do not market their athletes very well to me. But like I say, I'll be using my platform to follow up with these young ladies because they were able to bring my attention back to women's sports, and I want to show my appreciation for that. And I'll do that with my resources. But I would not be paying for no nonsense. I'm sorry. And if women's sports think I'm playing, y'all best go holler at the boxing world because we bootleg everything in the boxing. Shout out to the bootleg game. And I ain't playing games, but the boxers be doing too much, giving us all these damn fights we don't want to see. I mean, like, putting these world class fighters up against damn C-level fighters that's in their 40s. Like, I don't want to see Boots fight no. Yeah, come on, man. Yeah, let's get busy, bro. But Coach Dawn Staley, again, I love you, baby. Good luck tonight. I got Caitlin Clark really, cementing her legacy with a championship. So. But I'm not mad if the Gamecocks are able to solidify what they got going on. Again, what they've been able to do this year was improbable. It was not on paper, supposed to be in this position. So I'm hoping Coach Dawn Staley can get her third championship. And like I say, she's already amongst the greats, but another ring, I think she's right there with Coach Gino and Coach Pat. As far as some of the greatest that ever do it. But it is your boy Tony the Savant. Let me get back to the lab, do my research. We'll pop back out. We're gonna do a little coverage over the game before we go live tonight. I'm already thinking about calling off work, y'all. It's crazy. The more I look into this particular game, the more I think about calling off work. But it is your boy Tony the Savant.